Alright, well now that you've done that, we're ready to go on to the next part of investing in these relationships. We hate to inform you that this is a pyramid. Don't worry, this is not a pyramid or a Ponzi scheme, but this was the only graphic we could find that actually fit our needs for what we're going to talk about here. But basically we're just simply working off the idea that receptivity, how open somebody is to the gospel, or at least an invitation to a strategic environment where they can hear the gospel, it waxes and wanes, some researchers say. But more than that, it also seems to be different for different people. For example, some of us have had experiences where you run into somebody and they're like the Ethiopian eunuch in the Bible that's like, tell me what I need to do to be saved. Well, we're going to classify that person as a 5. Okay? Now, at the other end of the spectrum, we'll run into some people who are kind of like just looking for a Christian that they can be mean to and make fun of. Well, we're going to classify those people as kind of 1s and 2s. And as you look there at your graphic, you'll see that we probably want to spend the most time with the people that are the most receptive, the 5s, and then as we back down the scale, we'll probably want to spend the least time, quite frankly, with those who seem the most hardened to the gospel. Now, this is not because God doesn't love them. This is not because we don't love them. We just recognize that we have a limited amount of time and resources, and we need to focus on those folks that are in our spheres that seem most receptive to the gospel. It also will be something that we can think about in inviting them to certain kinds of events. 1s and 2s, they may not be ready for an invitation for a while, but somebody who's a 5, if you're able to do this at this point, and if not, we'll provide another video for some training here, you may just want to go ahead and share the message of Jesus with them. Just get the gospel out there on the table and see how they respond. Otherwise, moving back down the scale, you may want to do it in stages, or you may want to invite them to strategic environments where they can hear this message. So go ahead and turn the page, and the same thing here. Look at your identify list, look at all those different spheres, and now begin to put those people in certain categories based on what you think their receptivity is. The 5s, back down to the 1 and 2s. And then hit the pause button, and then we'll come back and talk some more in a moment. The next part of our strategy is the invite stage. As I said before, 5s are probably ready for an invitation to hear and respond to the gospel. Now here at Crossing, we don't want to just say only 5 should hear and respond to the gospel. We're just recognizing that most more receptive people may be closer on their journey to embracing Christ. But we also understand that sometimes people need to come into a non-threatening environment where they can see some other people on a journey as well, where they can see that this is a church that is doing church differently, that's not going to judge them, but that is going to proclaim the truth to them, and that they can struggle with their own questions and begin the journey of embracing Christ at their own pace. And so there you see the strategic environments that we've created for those different kinds of people. Look at the circle in the center. You'll see the community groups. If you've got somebody that's just become a Christian, or they are very close, community group might be a good place to bring them, because there they can see the gospel on display, or if they've already embraced it, they can begin to watch what it means to do life with other Christians and begin to do that themselves. Now moving outward, you'll see there starter groups. These are folks that have embraced the gospel and are ready to begin growing and understanding what it means to have a quiet time or a devotional time with the Lord. They need to understand what the Bible is and how to read the Bible, how to pray, and basically get some basic faith skills to get them off on the right foot in their journey. The next level out there would be book studies, seeker groups, or film studies. We have a myriad of options here at Crossing. If you've got some friends that are ready to sit down and study a book like Case for Christ or Case for Faith, that would be willing to do that, we can provide those resources to you and the equipping to do it. Or we've got people that are literally just waiting to have some folks to come in to be able to do that with. Or let's say they're not ready for that, but they are ready to dialogue about spiritual matters. We've got several films that we've picked out just from mainstream multimedia that deal with spiritual themes. that we have some discussion questions that we can use to legitimately, not in a jump out of the bushes kind of way, but a legitimate way to get the gospel on the table after watching and discussing a movie together. Same thing with books from the mainstream as well. Folks that are maybe a little further away, that you get that sense, you might want to invite them to that kind of strategic environment. And then finally, the Sunday morning gathering. Obviously, we do things differently. Our music is a little bit more engaging than a lot of folks have grown up with. Hopefully the teaching is always relevant, and anytime myself or someone else teaches, we try to do it in a way that is faithful to the biblical text, but also in a language that anyone can understand. Anytime I or anybody else use biblical terminology, we'll define it, and we provide the text there so that people can see in the notes where we're going. So it's a safe place for any of your friends, no matter where they are, to come and engage the gospel. So now, turn to the last page, and here's what we're going to do together. You will see a big bunch of lists. A big place where you can write down all of your friends, where you think they are on the receptivity chart, and then what is the next step for them. Are they ready to be invited to Sunday morning? Are they ready to be invited to community group? Where are they? So take some time now, based on the list that you have, and begin to put those people in those places. And then you will see there, we've also provided a chart where you can write down, this day I had contact with this person. Here's how it went. They seemed very receptive, or they blew me off. And then an opportunity to make a follow-up contact there as well. And all this does is it simply provides you a little sheet of accountability. You can keep this sheet in your car, in your cubicle, in your desk, excuse me, somewhere where you'll see this and remember that for most people, they aren't like the Ethiopian eunuch in the scriptures. They aren't standing around waiting for somebody to tell them how to be saved. It is a process. It is a journey. And so it takes many times. Some statistics say as much as 9 times of someone hearing the gospel before they embrace the truth. And so this provides a structure for you, if you will, of meeting with them, talking with them, and doing it in a way that honors them as a person created in the image of God, not treating them like a target, but treating them like a person, and gives you some accountability to follow up with them. And then we'll take these lists and put them on a master list, like I said, and we'll begin praying for them behind the scenes. We'll have a connection time each week in community group where people share about what's happening and the folks that they've loved on toward Christ. And then we will have some time, obviously without their names, where we pray for the connection list on Sunday. So take some time now, these final few moments, and do that, and then we will be good to go.